When the beat drops, you know exactly what time it is. Hello and welcome into the Blitz, where we have a divisional game to talk about. And David didn't grow up a Bucs fan, but you grew up an anti-Saints fan. All right, and I know you're excited for the rematch of this contest.
Yeah, they've been more like the Aints this year. Who that said they're going to beat the Saints? Everybody. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about with this rematch. The Aints have a new leader under center. The Bucs have more offensive help on the way. Plus, we have the pressure rate versus sacks debate along with our predictions and parlay of the week.
Oh, I just knew you were going to give me some gold there. So let's get started. This is the 10 and 10, the 10 most important storylines you need to know before the Bucs and Saints square off from Raymond James Stadium. At number 10, Tampa Bay is 7-5, taking on a 2-10 team. Pretty much a must-win game for the Buccaneers considering what's coming down the chute against Carolina, while New Orleans is 28. Or against New Orleans, I should say, the Buccaneers are 28-40 all time. The Bucs have won 6 of their last 7 matchups, and Tampa Bay is looking to beat its rival for 4 times in a row for the first time ever. You probably remember the matchup 6 weeks ago. Anthony Nelson looked like a Hall of Famer in that contest. He had 2 sacks, a forced fumble, an interception, one that was returned for a touchdown. He pretty much sent Spencer Rattler to the bench permanently, David.
Yeah, it was during that 23-3 win that we saw Saints quarterback Tyler Shough earn his first meaningful snaps in the NFL. He came off the bench, threw the ball 30 times. He finished with a QBR of 6.4. Needless to say, he has improved on that mark. At number 9, the Shough era is underway for the Saints, and the rookie quarterback out of Louisville is 1-3 as the starter. In his last 3 games, his completion percentage has never dipped below 68. He has also thrown 4 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He will eat some sacks, though. He has 11 in the same time span, which should make for some fun blitz packages from Todd Bowles. And the head coach knows New Orleans is not going to lay down against a divisional rival.
Everybody in this league plays for pride. There's nobody that's just going to give you any ball games. Everybody has their name on their back and the name on the front, and you play for that. They play for it. We play for it. Everybody in the league plays for it.
And here's another big difference between the matchup 6 weeks ago and what we're going to see this weekend. The Buccaneers are actually healthier than they were back then.
Yeah, I mean, you see Baker Mayfield all smiles, but he was playing through a lot of pain. Hassan Reddick, Chris Godwin Jr., Luke Gedeke, and Bucky Irving are just a handful of names who missed that game. Tampa Bay has a lot more in the arsenal this time around. So at number 8, let's talk about 2 of those guys, and Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin Jr. Bucky played his first game since week 4 against Arizona and totaled 81 yards on 19 touches. He also scored a touchdown for a guy who has missed half the season. He looked pretty darn good. As for Godwin, this is the first time all year he looked like the dude we all know and love. He totaled 78 yards. Hopefully the arrow is pointing up for him. And more help is on the way.
Yeah, at number 7, Jalen McMillan and Mike Evans both had their practice windows open. J-Mac suffered that neck injury during the preseason, has not played in a game yet. Evans got hurt in Detroit on October 20th. Both guys will not play against the Saints, but since next week is a Thursday night game and we will not have a show because of that, we're going to cheat and talk about them anyway. So let's bring in James Yarko for our Locked On Bucs burning question of the week, because this is exciting news for fans. James, last week we talked about what Bucky Irving's return would mean for this offense. With Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan returning soon, what happens to this unit and how much does it help?
I think with Evans and McMillan coming back, you're finally going to start to see the offense the way it was intended to be run. I know a lot of Bucs fans have been frustrated with Josh Grizzard this season because he hasn't had an offense that has put up the kind of numbers we saw last year with Liam Cohen, but he hasn't been playing with a full deck. There hasn't been a single game where you've had Evans, Godwin, and Ibuka all out there together. The offensive line is just now starting to gel because you've had players rotating in and out due to injuries. You lost Bucky Irving for 7 weeks. Now you have the opportunity to really open up the playbook and create some mismatches against any defense in the NFL, because there isn't one that can cover all of those guys at once. You can't double Mike and leave one-on-one opportunities for Godwin and Ibuka and McMillan, plus Bucky Irving coming out of the backfield. And oh, don't forget, Cade Otton is a pretty solid tight end as well. So this is finally going to start to get the Bucs the ability to ramp up and show what the offense is truly capable of.
Thank you so much, James. At number 6, let's talk about number 6, because Baker Mayfield is loving this development. This is a guy who was iffy to play against Arizona, gutted it out, and actually had his 5th best QBR of the season. He also said he didn't take any direct hits to that non-throwing shoulder, which is, of course, very important. Not like that injury stopped him from running anyway. Baker has rushed 19 times on 3rd down this season. 15 of those 19 rushes have resulted in a first down with a minimum of 10 attempts. Only Jalen Warren of Pittsburgh and Justin Herbert of the Chargers have a higher conversion percentage in the National Football League.
Yeah, that is awesome. We're not done with Baker yet because at number 5, you'll notice a Walter Payton Man of the Year sticker on the back of his helmet. He was selected as the team representative for the prestigious award. This is the first time Baker has been nominated, and it recognizes an NFL player for outstanding community service activities as well as excellence on the field.
We have an unbelievable platform. Something that we hold dearly to our hearts is giving back and using that platform for good. And so this is our home now, and being able to give back to Hillsborough County and the greater area. So it's awesome.
And you really saw Baker's generosity on display last week when he gave Tristan Wirfs his first ever touchdown pass. In case you missed it, the name of that play was called Anchor Bar. Shout out Davis Islands.
Yeah, so a funny story about the celebration. Nothing was planned. Luke Gedeke told team reporter Casey Phillips, in a previous season, the Bucs practiced a goal line play for him for multiple weeks. It was never even called. So they had a whole celebration and everything, never got to do it. This time around, they never really truly got their hopes up.
And you know what? It was better this way. Look, Graham is Jack, Tristan is Rose, just, nobody paint each other. All right, this is a family show. At number 4, something Baker Mayfield has been very good at this season versus last season is protecting the football. Turnovers will play a key part in this game, and as long as Tampa Bay protects the rock, it's going to be very tough for the Saints to win this contest. The Bucs are tied for 2nd in the league with a +9 turnover differential. The Saints are near the bottom of the NFL with a -5 in the same category. This could be the X factor in the contest.
At number 3, the return of Hassan Reddick showed up when it came to pressure rate last week. According to my 8th grade science teacher, pressure makes diamonds, and according to PFF, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers generated pressure on more than 53% of Jacoby Brissett's dropbacks. Good enough for their 2nd best mark this season. Here's the thing. Tyler Shough's completion percentage dips to just 42% when pressured. We mentioned it before, but Todd Bowles' unit should shine bright in this contest. And Evan, I know there is a huge debate from Buccaneers fans about pressure rate over sacks. Fans don't want to hear this stat. They want to see sacks, and Brissett was only dropped to the ground twice last week.
And look, I definitely want to provide my 2 cents on the matter, and I hear you. Look, sacks are better than pressures, 100%, but pressure rate also matters. Last week, Brissett had an intentional grounding. That's a penalty. Not a sack, but it's still a negative play. There were also multiple times Brissett flung it away, creating a wasted down. Pressures affect throws, and theoretically, the more you pressure the quarterback, the quicker they are forced to throw the ball, and the better coverage that you have, you can cheat on those routes. The real issue here is the Bucs get pressure and allow far too many teams to get easy completions. And look, a guy like Zion McCollum has to play better. The tackling has to be better than whatever we saw last week. But we cannot discount pressure rate stats. They certainly affect the game, just not in the box score, and fans hate that answer, but it is the truth.
Yeah, and look, by no means does a great pressure rate equal a tremendous defensive performance, but let it be known, the Bucs are 2nd in QB pressures, 6th in takeaways, 9th in tackles for loss, 14th in sacks. So when it comes to defensive havoc rate, the Bucs rank 11th according to Sumer Sports. So things, yes, they need to get better, to Evan's point, but there are positives from this unit.
Absolutely. At number 2, let's give a shout out to the special teamers now. Riley Dixon was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. When you factor in Cameron Johnson week 1 and Chase McLaughlin week 8, who also won the award, that's tied for the most ever in Buccaneers franchise history for a single season. As for Money McLaughlin, he is now 9 for 9 on field goal attempts from 50-plus yards out. Do not take this guy for granted. He is so good.
What was going on with him in the early part of the season?
I don't know, but he's back.
At number 1, let's take a quick look at the playoff picture. Thanks to the Atlanta Falcons being an unserious football team, please fire Raheem Morris. Between the Buccaneers and Panthers, one of those 2 teams is likely winning the NFC South. Carolina on a bye this week, so the Bucs have a chance to move a full game ahead of Dave Canales' squad. If Tampa Bay can win the next 3 games, it is a wrap. The division is theirs.
Time now for the all-out blitz, and let's start with our parlay of the week. My choice is Cade Otton over 29.5 receiving yards. I know he hasn't hit this in the past few games, but at plus money, I feel like that's great value. He had 40 in the last meeting with New Orleans, so I'm going with Cade.
Yeah, it's possible. And I'm saying Baker goes under his passing yards. Here's why. He's still nursing an injury. Tristan Wirfs nursing an injury. Might be a day to play it safe and just run the ball. As for what we're both going with, we think the rookie quarterback Shough will scramble over those 11.5 yards. So let's round that all up. We've got plus 750.
Juicy. As for what's happening on 10 Tampa Bay, it's an easy graphic this week. It's the game we've been talking about. The Buccaneers hosting the Saints inside Raymond James Stadium. Kickoff at 1 o'clock. Checking out our Blitz picks records. David and I both got the dub. I'm well on my way to a playoff appearance at 9-3. David, you're fighting for your life. I still have honors, so I will go first. The Bucs are favored by 8 points in this one, and that's probably a fair number, though it's tough for me to lay a number like that against a team that hasn't shown that killer instinct that we've been waiting for, that we've been hearing about since the preseason. Look, I expect the defense to be better. I expect the offense to go through its same roller coaster ride. But I do think New Orleans finds the back door like Arizona did last week. I got the Bucs winning 22-16 in this one.
Like I said before, I'm not trying to catch up to Evan. He's got it this year. Congratulations. There's no way I'm picking the Saints, though. Like, I don't think they even have the guys to truly play spoiler in this contest. Give me Tampa Bay 27-13.
Yep, and we'll see what happens here. Thank you so much for joining us on the Blitz this week. Remember, we do not have an episode next week because the Bucs have that tight turnaround to play on Thursday Night Football against your Falcons. We got the creamsicle uniforms out there. Speaking of a guy from Atlanta, David Shealy, I'm Evan Klosky. This is the Blitz. We'll see you same time or same place in 2 weeks.